Hey, it's Paris, back home from Gamescom 2025, and had a fantastic week in Cologne, Germany. A lot of fun, got a chance to see some old friends, got a chance to make some new friends, got hands-on with a ton of games, got to see a lot of stuff. But I would say the thing that has been most requested was, what do I think of the Asus ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X handheld, the partnership obviously with Asus and Xbox. So I want to dedicate this video to that. I'm just going to kind of give you my impressions, casual conversation about it, talk about what I think about the hardware itself, along with some of the Windows UI changes and improvements that they've made, and what do I think, they still need to work on as far as the handheld goes. So again, let's just jump right into this. So I was at Gamescom, made a few appointments with Xbox. So I do want to thank Xbox for allowing me to get some hands-on time with the ROG Ally. It's like trying to say his name is always funny, but the ROG Xbox Ally and the X. So I had a behind closed door session where I got extended hands-on time, and during the media day during Gamescom, I was able to visit the Xbox booth, and I was literally one of the very first people to get hands-on with the handheld, at the booth area. And then I went over to the Asus booth as well and got hands-on time with it there. Now over at Asus, it was locked down because this was what would have been completely open to the public, and anyone could just walk up and start playing it. So they had the Windows features locked down, so you were really limited in what you could do over there. In my behind closed door session, I was essentially able to do whatever I wanted. Now, I also want to apologize because the footage that you're going to see, I had extensive footage I took of me playing on both handhelds, talking about it, etc. And unfortunately, the one video I actually needed, unfortunately, is corrupt. So you're going to essentially see some kind of B-roll footage. You're not necessarily going to see me jumping in and playing Gears of War Reloaded, as an example, or Forza Horizon 5, and some of the footage you're going to see in this video, but that's okay. I mean, there's a ton of videos out there. You've seen the gameplay. You know what it looks like. It's more about, does this work as a handheld, as a quote-unquote Windows 11 PC handheld that has the ability to play some Xbox games? Because I think the number one thing that I've seen about this, and I even put out a tweet the other day talking about this, is there was some confusion coming out of the June showcase leading up here to Gamescom, where the messaging kind of made it seem like you could play all your Xbox games on this handheld, and that is not the case, because again, it's a Windows 11 device. So you are essentially, and limited is the wrong word here, but essentially what you can do with this device is you can play any PC game from any PC digital store on this device, and it is more curated, obviously, for Xbox. So if you have the Xbox app, you can play any game that comes from PC Game Pass. You can play anything that is considered Xbox Play Anywhere on this. And then obviously you can import other digital stores such as Steam, such as the Epic Store, such as GOG on down the line. And you can play those games on here as well. Now, you will have the ability, streaming wise, remote play, which does not require Game Pass to use. You can essentially connect to your own Xbox console, and any game that is on your Xbox console, you will be able to play on this device via streaming. And then if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can do cloud streaming as well and take from that curated list that allows cloud streaming, and which also includes some digital games that you own. And obviously that list will continue to expand. Now, when it comes to Xbox Play Anywhere, Xbox is touting that you have over 1,000 titles right now, and that list will continue to grow. I think in simple terms, everything first party from Xbox moving forward will be playable on this handheld, because they're obviously going to make sure that it's Play Anywhere enabled. And then certain third-party games, as they make agreements with third-party publishers, will also be available via Play Anywhere, but at no point should you always expect third-party games to be playable on the Xbox Ally that would be a quote-unquote Xbox console game. I hope that explains it. I do think there was some confusion with their messaging back in June. But when I saw the messaging that they, Xbox, I mean, that they put out during Gamescom, they were a little more specific about this playing PC games, this doing Xbox Play Anywhere, being able to stream your console games, be it cloud streaming or remote play from your console. So that's how you have to think about it. And then obviously, if you have the Xbox app right now and you're in the Windows Insider, you already know that now they have the library integration going. So you can bring in, you know, your once you have Steam installed and you have those games installed on your handheld, your Steam games, your Epic games will show up in your Xbox library. And I bring that up because the big thing about this is the software, is the Windows UI, and it's the Xbox full screen experience, which it's essentially allowing you boot up the handheld, you will boot immediately into the Xbox full screen experience. I want to say that correctly. And then you'll be presented with essentially the Xbox app as you would see it on your Windows 11 desktop right now. But obviously it's been curated to fit on a handheld. And with that Xbox button now, you're able to navigate through certain menus. You can just press on it. It's going to bring things up. You hold it down. You're able to kind of scroll through various apps, things like that. I think that the UI still needs some work, in my opinion. I will always compare this to SteamOS and what Valve is doing, and I think the Steam UI is still the superior UI. But I think what they've done now, that to just simply play your games, you never have to leave the Xbox full screen experience. You never have to go to the desktop mode. You're able to navigate through it. Now that the controller, basically the buttons and the joysticks are now Windows 11 aware, I believe that's the terminology you want to use. But in other words, you don't have to use a mouse, anything to navigate. You are able to navigate with the controller buttons and the joysticks in the UI. And like I said, that Xbox button does come in clutch for a simple, quick access into certain menus and features and settings inside of the Xbox. The Xbox full screen experience. Well, it's a mouthful to try and say, but let's talk about the hardware itself. So the grips, that is probably the biggest upgrade feature from the previous ROG Ally that you have on this new Xbox Ally, whereas it now feels very natural and comfortable for long play sessions to hold this handheld. I mean, it darn near feels like you're holding an Xbox controller. No issues out that. Didn't have to quote unquote get used to it. It just felt natural to hold. And you could tell for extended play times, this is going to be very comfortable. I think universally, everyone seems to have that same opinion. And now that I've had a few different sessions with the handheld, I 100% agree with that. You know, from a spec standpoint, we're looking at the Xbox Ally X. It is curated for 1080p gaming. The screen is 7 inches, IPS 1080p on both devices, but this is using that Z2 Extreme AI chip from AMD, but essentially there's an NPU in here for some future AI potential with this handheld. There's 24 gigabytes of DDR RAM in here as well. The fact that now they're doing you're going to be able, your shader cache, you're going to be able to upload that now on there with the Ally X or the Xbox Ally X is going to be a key feature. So you don't have to waste time trying to download and load these things. All that's going to be pre-cached for you on there, which I think is going to be fantastic. Now, the Xbox Ally, and they should have called it the Xbox Ally X or S, excuse me, in my opinion. But that is also a 1080p IPS screen, but it has the Z1 Extreme processor in it, which from everyone I've been talking to, it's essentially on the same power level as a Steam Deck, right? So you have to think of it that way. And this is more targeted at 720p gaming. And the thing about both of these devices, whether you're playing at 720p or at 1080p, you know, it is ideally going to play games anywhere between 30 frames to 60 frames per second. Some games obviously can be even higher because it is a 120 hertz screen. So it could go up to 120 frames per second as well. But the idea here is with VRR enabled, you know, you're not going to see screen tearing, stuttering, things like that. So even if the frames per second fluctuates a little depending on the game that you're playing, you should have a pretty smooth experience while you're playing. Now, games that I got to play, and again, I apologize that I lost the footage on this, but I've been able to play Gears of War Reloaded on this, played just fine, no issues at all. I was very surprised, and that was on the Xbox Ally X. On the Xbox Ally, I played Forza Horizon 5, and I was very surprised by that. Very smooth experience. Loading could have been a little quicker on it, I will admit, but once I was actually into Forza Horizon 5, played great. 720p, no issues at all. Played Balatro on there as well. Again, going back to the Xbox Ally X, I played Doom the Dark Ages. I played Lies of P. I played Expedition 33. Now flipping back over to the Xbox Ally, I was able to briefly play Hollow Knight Silksong as well. In a behind closed door session, I was also able to play Planet of Lana 2 just very briefly on the Xbox Ally X. But again, all the play sessions on it were great. No issues at all. It was a smooth experience. I didn't really see any bugs or anything, crashes, none of that. Everything was great from that, which obviously they're going to make sure they're picking games that are going to be ideal in that. And the other thing that they're bringing to this, as I'm sure a lot of you know, is they are going to have badges on these games to let you know if it has been optimized, for a handheld experience. Gears of War Reloaded, as a matter of fact, has already been certified as being Xbox Ally ready, so to speak. So these are the things that they need to do, and they will continue to iterate on the software side, to curate that experience, and obviously listen to community feedback, user feedback for things that they can improve. I was also able to test out going into desktop mode. I was able to do it through the Xbox button, switch to the desktop mode, press the Xbox button, boom, I'm right back into the Xbox full screen experience without issue on that. So far so good on that. I think it's good enough. They still need to improve it. There are still things like you will have to, unfortunately, go to desktop mode for patches, security updates, installing certain third-party applications as well. I do believe, and I'm not 100% on this, you will be able to not leave the Xbox full screen experience to install Steam, Battle.net, GOG, etc. I believe they'll have those already ready to go for you to install. But obviously, even then, you'll need to install them. You'll need to go to Steam, all these things. So it's not 100% that you will always stay in that Xbox full screen experience. And once we get to the review period, I really want to dive in and see what applications I can install and really push that notion to see how many times will I have to leave that experience and go into desktop mode to do anything on this handheld. So we'll see about that. But overall, I'm impressed. I think these two handhelds, and honestly, I think the Xbox Ally is the one that's going to be the most popular. We still don't know pricing as of this recording, but it's going to be the cheaper option. And for people that just simply want to play games, 720p on this handheld is fine. There's no issue there. I think that's going to be the more desirable one. Now, for the enthusiasts, the people that want to tinker, that want the best of the absolute best, then yes, you're going to have to spend more. You're going to have to go get that Xbox Ally X. But we'll see on pricing here on the next couple weeks. But from my brief time back in June, getting hands-on with it, and then again, getting a little more extended time here at Gamescom, I'm impressed with it. I think it will, it is something that I will absolutely be getting day one for me. And again, I'm on the enthusiast side, so I'm going to want to get, the Xbox Ally X. But like I said before, I see for your kids, things like that, people that are on a budget, if you go get that Xbox Ally, you probably won't be disappointed. Now, one final thing before I get out of here. If you already own an ROG Ally or an ROG Ally X, the current versions, wait until the reviews to see if it is going to be worth upgrading. We still need to test games like Cyberpunk 2077 on this. We need to see what the performance is going to look like. Again, I would guess that the Xbox Ally, the white version, 720p version, again, that processor is very similar to a Steam Deck, so expect Steam Deck performance for your games on that. But I will be curious to see what the Z2 Extreme AI chip will be able to do on the Ally X and what kind of performance we're going to get out of that. But from just an ergonomic standpoint, from a hardware standpoint, I think the internals are solid. The screen is solid. Everything on that is good. I can already co-sign on that. Now let's see how games perform on this. Let's see in real world unsupervised tests how navigating through this Windows UI is going to be. But for a preview, I think this was good. I'm like I said, I do want to thank Xbox. I want to thank Asus for allowing me to again get some access to this at Gamescom and get extended hands-on time. So these are my thoughts on the Asus ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X. This is Paris. Thank you for checking this out, and I will talk to you again real soon.